I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, December the 11th, 2014. Initial autopsy reports for Palestinian Minister Ziad Abu Ain suggest that he died from a heart attack brought on by stress and possibly pressure to his neck during a confrontation yesterday with IDF soldiers at a protest in the West Bank. It was also determined that the minister had a pre-existing heart condition. Further reports were expected that might shed light on whether resuscitation attempts were administered on Abu Ain or whether he was struck, as the Palestinians contend. Thousands of Palestinians gathered for Abu Ain's funeral today in Ramallah, and Israeli security forces had tightened security across the West Bank in anticipation of possible riots. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sent a personal message to the Palestinian Authority yesterday, vowing that Israel would investigate Abu Ain's death and called for calm. Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon also noted that the incident was being investigated and added that the security stability is important to both sides and we will continue the security coordination with the PA. The PA has threatened to halt security coordination with Israel in the aftermath of the incident. 3 young Jewish men suspected in the arson attack on a bilingual Jewish-Arab school in Jerusalem last month have confessed. The 3 are part of a radical right-wing group called Lehava, who fight against Arab-Jewish intermarriage and Arab-Jewish coexistence in Israel. The suspects include brothers Nachman and Shlomo Twito and Yitzhak Gabay. They're all from the West Bank settlement of Beitar Elite and range in age from 18 to 22. The lawyers of the 3 contend that the confessions were made under duress. If you recall, the first-grade classroom of the Max Rain Hand-in-Hand School in Jerusalem was burned down when it was deliberately set on fire on November the 29th, and anti-Arab and anti-Jewish Arab coexistence slogans were spray-painted on the walls of the school. A new center for new young immigrants to Israel was dedicated today. Chairman of the Executive of the Jewish Agency for Israel, Natan Sharansky, and Minister of Aliyah and Immigrant Absorption, Sofa Landwehr, were on hand for the dedication of the Beit Brodetsky Center for Young Immigrants. It is hoping the new live-in center, which encourages young people from around the world to immigrate to Israel, will make their integration into Israeli society easier. As part of the live-in program at the center, young immigrants will take Hebrew lessons and take part in social and cultural programs. They will also be provided with counseling and guidance on continuing their education and advancing their careers in Israel. A statue of Anne Frank was dedicated in Buenos Aires yesterday, which was International Human Rights Day. The bronze piece, created by sculptress Jet Shep, is a replica of the statue of Anne that stands outside the home where she and her family were hidden from the Nazis in Amsterdam. It was dedicated by the Buenos Aires city government, the Dutch embassy in Buenos Aires, and the Anne Frank House and Museum of Buenos Aires. The Helmsley Charitable Trust is allocating over $11 million in grants to Israeli organizations and initiatives, among them an agricultural research institute and several medical centers. Helmsley trustee Sandor Frankel said the grant to the Volcani Institute for Agricultural Solutions in Arid Land will not only help Israel but can ultimately help feed the world. And the medical funding will focus on research and hopefully a cure for people suffering from Crohn's disease and also for the care of those needing life-saving organ transplants. And the late Jewish comedian Joan Rivers has bequeathed money in her will to some of her favorite charities, including several Jewish organizations. The New York Daily News reported that Rivers, who died in September after complications while undergoing throat surgery, left money to the Jewish Guild Healthcare, the Jewish Home and Hospital Foundation in New York City, and to the Simon Wiesenthal Center in Los Angeles. Rivers also left funds to charities Guide Dogs for the Blind, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and the New York-based food pantry God's Love We Deliver. Well, the Golden Globe Award nominations were announced this morning, and Israeli film Get, The Trial of Vivian Amsalem, is among the nominees for Best Foreign Language Film. Also nominated for Best TV Drama Series, The Affair, a series which airs on Showtime that was co-created by Israeli TV and film director Haggai Levy. Jewish American performers nominated for their work this year include Jake Gyllenhaal for the film Nightcrawler, Juliana Margulies for the TV show The Good Wife, Lena Dunham for the HBO series Girls, and Oscar-winning composer Hans Zimmer for Best Original Score of the film Interstellar. The Golden Globes air January the 11th. And turning now to our programming for tonight, Thursday, December the 11th. Coming up at 9 o'clock on L'Chaim, Mark S. Golub sits down with World War II veteran and Israeli activist William Langfan. That's tonight here on JBS and jbstv.org. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, December the 11th, 2014. I'm Teisha Bader.